Sometimes Greek can be really cryptic, and we look at the words and we have to really work hard to see what it means and then how to say the same thing in English. And that usually involves a little bit of creativity on the translator's part. This is Mark 6:2, and let me just go through and get the translation done. And being Sabbath, so there's your genitive absolute, when the Sabbath had occurred, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many, so here's the sequence of three verbal forms, hearing, present participle, they were astonished, the imperfect, they were in a state of astonishment, an ongoing state of astonishment, saying. So probably in English we would say something like, when they heard, they became amazed and said, something like that. But here's our phrase. Pothen is the interrogative, from what place or from where. So from where to this one, going back to Jesus, these things. From whence to this one, these things. In other words, where did he get these things? So you'll notice that's generally a translation that is followed in most of these different versions. Where did this man get these things? In typical NASB style, because get is being inserted, they put it in italics. And of course, the problem with that is that there are many words that are, quote, inserted that aren't italicized in the New American Standard, so that's part of the problem. But I appreciate their intent. But from whence are these things? Well, you gotta add a verb somewhere. Now let me quickly finish this because I want to look at the NLT. And what? So this is your interrogative, right? See it over there. Who, which, or what? So what, the wisdom, the which has been given, aorist passive participle, modifying wisdom. What is the wisdom which has been given to this one, to Jesus? So same kind of construction as to right there. And the tis is still controlling down here. What the powers, such powers, through his hands become. In other words, they want to know, where did this man get his information from? And where did he get the wisdom from and the ability to do these miracles? Now, when you see that, and you see the awkwardness of trying to translate that phrase that doesn't have a verb, you can get over to the NLT and you can see what's going on. They asked, where did he get all this wisdom and power to perform such miracles? You go, wait a minute, there's two questions there in the Greek. Yeah, there is, but this one doesn't make much sense by itself. And the fact is, what is the abilities and what is the wisdom that they're referring to? Well, it's back up to his teaching, isn't it? They want to know, he's teaching, and they want to know where did the wisdom come from and where did the ability to perform miracles that Jesus could do to attest to the truth of what he taught, where did all that come from? So that's what that interrogative there is doing. It's controlling Sophia and dunamis. All right. So you can see what's happening in the NLT is that they push it all together and they lose the awkwardness of tauta. Where did he get the wisdom and the power to perform these miracles? But you get these kind of constructions in Greek where it's awkward and you got to sit down and say, well, I know what it says, what does it mean? And you can figure out what it means, okay. But then when you come to actual English, you're going to have to insert a word and try to do something to make sense of it. That's just the nature of Greek. It's the nature of translating from one language into any other language. Languages aren't codes, they're not exact equivalents, and you simply cannot get back through the English, from the English to the Greek. So, for example, if you look at ESV, where did this man, well, it's going back to tuto. There's no word man there, but it's inherent in it. But they've inserted man, and they've created a verb get. So if you click on get, say, well, what's the Greek word behind it? You'll see that nothing's being highlighted. There is no word behind it. You simply cannot, no pun intended, get from the English back to the Greek. You just can't do it. But anyway, welcome to the joys of translating. And as you continue on your work on Bible study Greek, you need to realize that there's going to be this kind of flexibility at translating a lot of the Greek sentences. Thanks.